Hey, welcome to my channel hdevz. So today I'm going to be showing you how to create a fully responsive web design using HTML and CSS only. So I promise I don't use any CSS or JavaScript libraries or frameworks. So before we begin, let's take a look at our demo for this tutorial. So as you can see on the very top, we have the header with the left hand side with the logo, and with the header navigation on the right hand side with the hover effect on the parent menu, and then the sub menu will show up first. And we have the heading one here. We have the paragraph and two button with the paragraph background for the header sections. And down below we have the 4 column layout. We made it by CSS, pure CSS, no CSS libraries or frameworks. And down below we have the 3 column grid layout with the hover effect on each item here. And we have the details section. We have the custom ordered list. We have the image on the right hand side with the hover effect. When we hover on that, the green transparent mask will show up, and the little icon on the center vertically and horizontally. Okay. And down below we have the blog section. We have the 3 blog posts with the nice thumbnails with the metadata for each post, blog title, and the little description text for each post with the 3 grid column layout. And down below we have the footer navigation with the information at the first column. On the second column we have the categories. The third column we have a subscriber form. And the last column we have the recent post with the post title, the metadata, and a little description for each post. And on the very bottom we have the footer. On the left hand side we have the copyright information, and on the right hand side we have the template info. Okay, so when we trying to scale down our screen size, okay, so as you can see, the header will responsiveness. And on the mobile screen, we see the hamburger menu here. We made it by CSS. And when we click on that, the header navigation will show up first, and the sub menu when we hover on the parent menu will show up when we hover over on it. Okay, so all of those effects, I made it by pure CSS, no CSS or JavaScript libraries or frameworks. Okay, and the full width of the grid system layout, and the half column here. As you can see, the full width, footer navigation here. Okay, so this is our demo for this tutorial. Okay, so before I begin, please make sure that you have a web browser and a text editor. I highly recommend you to use Google Chrome for web browser, as you can see here, and the Visual Studio Code for text editor. I recommend you to use an extension in Visual Studio Code called Live Server for quickly make a virtual server on your HTML project to make it available when you're trying to access the local host or the IP address, local IP address at 127.0.0.1 at the port 5500. Okay, and I already opened my new folder called my site, and inside this folder I have a HTML file called index, and I prepared 5 images in our demo here. We have the first image on the header section with the background, paragraph background. We have a second one on the detail section here with the paragraph background also, and 3 blog post thumbnails here. And in total we have 5 images. So here are the 5 images. So you can find those images in the links, in the GitHub link down below the description of this video. Okay. So with this HTML, this is the empty HTML, so we can start by typing HTML. So the Visual Studio Code will suggest us to choose the boilerplate. So I will choose the HTML:5 for generating the HTML file boilerplate for us. Okay, so I will update the title, become a hdevz personal blog. Okay, and in the header we have to specify the style sheet file. So I can create a CSS folder. Inside a CSS folder, I will create a style.css file. Okay, so if we want to make the style.css file available for this HTML document, so we will define a link tag link to the CSS style.css file. And in our project, we use the font awesome icon here for those here. So you can search on Google for font awesome. So the first result is font awesome homepage. So you can click on that. And if you just want to use font awesome for the demonstration for your local project, so I suggest you to use free version of the font awesome. So for the pro version for your professional project or for your enterprise project, so in this video tutorial I will use the free version. So for the font awesome homepage, it will ask you for the email. You can type your email here, something like that. So and then you can click on the button send kit code. So it will send the kit code directly to your email that you have already input here. But I don't like to use this feature, so I will use the CDN to link to this font awesome CSS file. So I just need to put the own.min.css file version 5.11.2 of the font awesome. So I can copy this line of code. Okay, so I back to my HTML documentation. So I will define a link tag with the hot web to the link that I was just copied on the cdnjs.com for font awesome. Okay, so make sure that you put the link for the font awesome above the style.css file, because in the style.css file we will use the font awesome. So that's why we have to put it down below the font awesome CSS file. Okay, so let's get started for writing some HTML code. Okay, so for the first block we will define a header section with the background image here. So we will use the Visual Studio Code embed function, embed feature. Then we can generate the code by using some shortcut syntax in Visual Studio Code like I did here. If I want to generate a header tag, I type in header and I hit tab to generate an opening tag and closing tag. Okay, so if you want to generate a tag with the class, I can type in, for example, div.container. So I can hit tab. So then you have the div, the class container. So I'm sorry with that. Okay, so if you want a nested element inside a element, so you can use use div.row and hit tab. So it will generate for you the nested row div tag inside the container class div tag. Okay, so that is the embed feature. So for the header tag, inside the header tag we have the header main and hit tab. Inside the header main we have the container class div, and inside the container we have the row class. Okay, so inside the row class we have the grid system. So we will divide this header main navigation here. On the left hand side we have the logo, and on the right hand side we have the header navigation here. So in the row, suppose the purpose of the container class is wrap with all the content inside a box, and align it in the center horizontally. So you can see here, this is the container box. And for the full width of our browser view here, we set the header for the background image. So you can see here. So that's why we define the container class. And inside the row class, we define 2 columns. The first column, we can call it the column -6. So we can generate 2 column -6 by type multiply 2 and hit tab. So it will generate 2 column 6 for you. The first column, you define a class for styling. Okay, I call it header double underscore main brand, and we can define it heading 1 for this. And on the column on the right hand side, we can define a navigation tag with the class header main navigation. So please below that, we're using BAM naming convenient here. It's easier for us to rely and easier for us to collaborate with team members. Okay, so inside a navigation tag, we have the input tag with the type checkbox. So the reason here why I put the checkbox input tag here, because I want the hamburger to be able to toggle. So when I click on the hamburger here, it means that I click on the input type checkbox. So if the checkbox is checked, then the header navigation will show up for us. And if the input checkbox is unchecked, so the header navigation will uncheck for us. So that's why we don't want to use any JavaScript code or any JavaScript library here. So the next thing, we will define a list item of the navigation. So we will define an unordered list, and inside unordered list we have the 5 list item. Inside each list item we have the hyperlink with href to both sides for the demo. The first link is home, the second is blog, the third one is about us, next one is contact us, and the last one is privacy ampersand policy. So as you can see, when we hover on the blog list item, we have this sub menu here. So that's why we have to define a sub unordered list here. So you can define unordered list, ly list item multiplied by 3, and inside each list item we have the hyperlink. Okay, for the first one we define the new category, the second is design, and the third one is programming. Okay, so down below the header mains, we have the another class for the text here, for the header heading 1, the paragraph and 2 button here at the center. Okay, so we can define a class called header main banner. Okay, inside this div we can have a section, and inside this section we have the heading 1 with the content of this one. Okay, I can copy it for quickly moving on. And the second one is the paragraph tag, and the third one we can have the details and pricing buttons. So we can define a button tags with the btn and btn solid for the button type number 1. So you can see with the background of the primary color and the text is white. And the second type of button is we have the transparent background with the white border, and the text is white color. And when we hover over on it, the background will be green. Okay, so the first one is button solid. So the second one is the button, and we call it button outline. Another extra class called reverse. Okay, so it will be pricing. Okay, so here we are. So for the live server, we As you can see on the very bottom on the right hand side, you can see a little go live icon here when we already installed the live server. So you can see this icon, so I can click on this to start a virtual server on the Visual Studio Code, and you can open that our web page, our index.html in the local IP, local host with the port 5500. Okay, so this is our header in the Boost HTML. So we can navigate to the style.css file by define some boilerplate here for the variables. So the first thing we need to do is define a command called region. So we can call this region is global variable. Okay, so we have the end region tags for global variable. Okay, inside two command tags, we can define a root Bruxelles class. So inside the root Bruxelles class, we can define a variable. A variable in CSS is the feature that CSS supports for us. So the first variable we can define is the text font. The font for all the text. The font for all the text here in our web page. So you can see here, text here and the text here. Okay, and for the heading, from heading 1 to heading 6, you can see our heading is have a different font family. So that's why we can define a second type of fonts. So for the first one, text font, we can define the Verdana, Geneva, the fullback one, the Tahoma, and sans serif family. So the second one is for the heading font. We can define is Georgia, Times New Roman, and it's the serif family. And for our primary color, you can see here a darker green here, so we can call it primary color. So it have the hexadecimal 257557. Okay, and for the hover effect, we can have the primary dark color. It's called 125039. Okay, and we can have a secondary color. You can see on the little icon here, we have a lighter green color. So we can have secondary color called 0A FCDA. Okay, and for the effect, when we hover over on the image, you can see the transparent light green color here. So that's why we can define a variable called a secondary alpha color with the red, green, blue, and alpha 10 to 52 to 18 and 0.75. Okay, and we have the white color here with the cheapo F. We have the gray color with the cheapo C. We have the white alpha with the RGBA 0, 255, 255, and 0.2. Okay, so for the text color, we can define a base text color with the color 333. Okay, and for the base font size, we can define 14 pixel. The base line height for all our content in our HTML documentations is 1.6 gram. Okay, so and we can define a block small padding for 3 ram on the top and bottom, and 0 for the left and right. And the second one is for the big padding. We can define 5 ram for the top and bottom, 0 for the left and right. So as you can see here, when we're trying to scale up to the desktop view, as you can see, the paddings for each block here is 5 ram at the top and the bottom. So as you can see the small paddings on the top and the bottom here. This is why we have a two variable. Okay, So the next section for the CSS is our region. We can connect it as CSS recess. So why we need the CSS reset? We set the CSS default and regions CSS recess. Okay, so the reason why, because with each browser we have the default styling is different than the other. So that's why we have to reset all the default style to the original one that we want. Okay, so for the CSS reset, we can use the command CSS reset from the mailweb.com. So you can copy all of that CSS here and you can paste into our CSS reset region. Okay, so leave it at here. So we can collapse our region, save it. Okay, so for the next section, we can define a region called global styling, because we want to style some elements globally. And the end region, global styling. Okay, so we can collapse our CSS reset region here. So the first thing we need to define is the body class. So we can reset our font family to the variable that we have already defined at the very top here, the text font. And for the font size, we can reset it to the base font size, okay, 14 pixel. And for the line height, and we can define it as the baseline height variable. And for the color of the text for our own HTML documentations, so we can use var base text color. Okay, so let's get back to the browser and see the result. So as you can see here on the on our content here, we will change to the font family for the Vodana. Okay, for the second thing, we can define the hyperlink class, the hyperlink element. You can define the color of var secondary color. Okay, and the text decoration none. So we can see on the hyperlink we will turn to the lighter green, and the text decoration for it. The next thing, we can define our image globally, and we can set max width with 100% because we don't want to overlap our content. And for our input on the WebKit for the Chrome and Safari, this prefix or the placeholder, and we set the color to gray one. Okay, and this selector for the Edge browser for the window. Okay, for the second one, we can define is for the Microsoft input placeholder. Then we define this for support on the Internet Explorer 10 or 11, version 10 or version 11, so we can use the same one above, gray. Okay, and for the last one, we can define the common selector for placeholder, and it's the same like we did before, color gray. Okay, so for the placeholder, as you can see, I'll refer in here. So I can close this one and this one. So you can see here the input, and the placeholder is the text that preview. The color will be gray because we define here. Okay, for the heading 1 to heading 6, the heading, we can set the font family with a different than the text body fonts set with the heading font. Okay, so that you can see the heading 1 here, we have the different font family than the other. Okay, And for the strong and B elements, we can use the font weight to set it to bold to strong it. Okay, and for the S1 we can set the font size equal to 2.4 rem for make our heading one a little bit bigger. Okay, for heading file, so as you can see our heading file here for each service on our service block. Okay, the heading file, so we can have the font size equal to 1.6 rem, and the heading 6 for our header title here, and for title the 4 column here, we can set the font size equal to 1.4 rem. Right, and the next one is the image over class. So as you can see, the image over, when we want to hover over on the image, so then the transparent lighter green will be show up with a little transition, and a center icon here will be show up first. So that's why we have to define image over class globally, because we want to reuse in 4 places, in 3 blog posts and in the detail section here. Okay, so for the image over, we can set the position to relative. Okay, and the cursor equal to pointer, because when we hover over on it, so the pointer will be pointer. Okay, and we can define the shadow class for image over when we hover over on it. So the after elements, the content will be the font or some code is /F0C1. Okay, so the little icon here. Okay, and the font family equal to font awesome 53. The font weight equal to 900. The font size equal to rem. Okay, width 100%, height 100%, position absolute, top equals 0, left equals 0, display equal flex warp equal no warp, a 9 item equal to center, and justify content equal center. We made the color equal to white color icons. The background color, we set it to the secondary. This alpha color is lighter than the secondary alpha color here, so we can define it by making another variable called a secondary line alpha color. You can set it to 10 to 52 to 18 and 0.3. Okay, so we can use this one for our image over up to 11. Okay, so the next thing we have to define is the property called opacity, zero visibility, hidden, and the transitions. When we hover over on it, set to on 0.5 second, and the linear we easy now. So the content and the font family here we set for the little icon here, and then the font weight we set it to both font. Okay, so the width and height we will set for the after element, we will set it for the 100% width and height for the transparent light, the green mask here, and the absolute position we will make it above the image, and the flex display for align it vertically and send vertically and horizontally the icon here. Okay, and this for the color white, and the background equal to lighter green alpha. Okay, and for the mask here, so you can see we have the mask on the header, on then the mask on the detail section because we have the background image, but we have the white text color here, so it will be a little difficult to see our text above of the background image. So that's why we have to make a mask with the transparent black color. So that's why we define the hash mask class. Okay, so the position will be the relative, and the z-index equal 1. And for the procedural element after, we can define our content equal to empty, the position absolute top equals 0, left equals 0, with 100%, high 100% of the parent background color. We will use the black alpha. Okay, and the z-index of the after procedural class, we will make it below our element inside the current block. Okay. Okay, so for the black alpha, we can define our black alpha here. So we can define it by 0, 0, 0, and 0.5. Okay. The next one is for our button. So you can see out here we have two type button. So for the common class button, we can define some property display inline block, padding equals 0.75 RAM, 125 RAM. Okay, text transform equal uppercase, font size equal 1 RAM. So you can see here the text transform equal uppercase, and the font size for 1 RAM. Okay, the font weight we will set it for 400, and align text into the center. Vertical align text we can set it to the middle, and the cursor, when we hover over on it, the icon will be the border. Color, we used the variable called base text color, the darker one, right? User select, we set to none. We don't want user to select the text inside the button. Okay, the border we could set to 1 pixel solid, and transparent because the default one we don't have the border. The background color we set it to transparent, and the line height we set 1.5. Transition we set it to on 0.5, 0.3 second. Easy in out. Okay, border radius we set it to 0.3 RAM, so you can see a little border radius here. Okay, so specifically for the button type number 1, we can set it to the button solid, and we set the background color to the variable with primary color. Okay, and the color of the text we don't want to be the default button class here. The base text color is the darker color, so we will use the white color like we can see here. Okay. Okay, so that's it for button solid. So the second one is the button outline. We don't have the background color because we will set it to the transparent like we want here, transparent. We just need to set the border color. We don't want this to be transparent. We set the border color of the button outline will be the base text color. Okay, and the button outline hover. When we hover over on it, so the background will be the light green. Okay, so we can define the background color equal to base text color. this button we have the reverse class, so that's why for our default button outline we will use the base text color, darker color for the background and for the border. And for the color we will set it to white. Okay, and I forgot to set our button solid with the hover effects. We can set the background color to the primary dark color. Okay, so you can see here when we hover over on the button solid, we have the primary dark color with a little transition. Okay, and the next one we can define our button outline class with extra class called reverse. Okay, we set the reverse class. We have set the border color to the white color, and the color of the text we set it to the white also, and the hover effect, when we hover it, we set the background color to the variable called primary color. Okay, so that's for our buttons. So as you can see here, we have the button solid, and the second button we have the button outline reversed. So we don't see it because we have the white background here. Okay, so for the next one, we will define our global class for this header, because we will use it through our blocks. You can see here, and the second time here, and the third time here. So it is the same. So that's why we have to define a global class for all of those block called block heading. We have the B class on the top, and we have the S6 element on the bottom. So that's why we can define our text align to center, margin bottom to 3 rem. Okay, and for the paragraph of block heading, we can set the font size degree a little bit, equal to 0.8. Okay, so the next thing we will define is the region coordinate grid system. This is very interesting part because this is the difficult section I want to introduce you. The grid system, like you use Bootstrap or any CSS framework like Joomla Foundations, the Puma or Bootstrap. So we don't use any CSS library or framework, so that's why we have to make our own grid system. So the first thing you need to define is the wildcard with the procedure class before and procedure after. We set the box sizing equal to border box. The reason why I set the box sizing to border box because I want the padding and the border of any element in our HTML documents will be included in the box model in the width and height of the element. Okay, so the container, we set the width equal 100%, padding 0 and 15 pixel. For the margin, I set 0 and auto to center it horizontally. You can see the container wrapped around each block here. You can see. Okay, and for the row class, I can define it as display flex. Flex warp, I allow it to warp to the next row. As you can see here, when we define the flex warp, so then the fourth column will be the next line. And the margin for the row is equal to 0 on the top and bottom, minus 15 pixel for the left and right. And we will define our grid system by defining our column. So our column is from column 1 to column 12, because we want to divide the row into the 12 column. So that's why we can copy and paste for moving on quickly. So I can change it to 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last one is column 12. The second thing here I need to talk to you, because we have in total 5 breakpoints. So if you want to working with responsive need web design, so you need to define a responsive breakpoint. The breakpoint is when you trying to scale down or up the browser design, the browser width. So this wise you can see the browser width and height at the very top here. So the first breakpoint is from zero. The first breakpoint we will have the low column from column 1 to column 12. So the second breakpoint from the 5 and 76. You can see here 5 and 76 in width. So if you scale up a little bit, as you can see here, in 5 and 76, it turned into 2 columns here. But when I scale down a little bit, 5 and 75, so it turned it to the full row column. So that's why the second breakpoint is column equal to column small 1. Okay, and we can copy it into the 12 column. Second 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the 12. And the third breakpoint is the 7 and 68. You can see 7 and 68 here. Okay, so I can copy the one and change it to the medium screen size. And for the next one, we in the 9 and 92, as you can see, 991 is different than 9 and 92 here, as you can see. Okay, so in the 9 and 92 we have the different breakpoint, the different classes called lock, the lock screen. And the last breakpoint is 1200. You can see here 1200. Yeah, 11 and 99 is different than 1200. Why? Yeah, you can see here. So that's why I can copy the lock one and I call it extra lock. Okay, so I can copy and paste that. Okay, so that's all. So we can define the position for this is relative position, width equal to 100%, for default, and padding equal to top and bottom 0, 15 pixels for the left and right. And we can define our column 1 equal to 0, 0, 8.33 in width. Okay, and we also set the mark width equal 3 and 33, and we can copy and paste our column here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the column 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so the second column we have this 16 and 66. So we can change the comma here into the dot notation. And then for the column 3, we can divide it to 25%, 16.66. The column 4 is 33 and 33. The column 5 is 41 and 66. Column 6 equal to 50%. And for the column 8 is the 58.3, 33. That's the column 8 equal to 66.66. Okay. Column 9 equal to 75%. 75. And the column 10 equal to 83.33. Column 11 equal to 91.66. And the last column is 100% in width, of course. Okay, for our next breakpoint in the 576, we can define our CSS media query here for the min width equal to 576 pixel. So we can copy and paste our column from column 1 to column 12, but we will change the class here into the small. So you can keep on the width is the same with the column in the 0 breakpoint. Okay, we just need to change the class of each column for the right breakpoint. And for the container, so as you can see here, the container, the default one is with 100% on the smaller screen size, but on the larger screen size than in the 576, we can define our container width equal to mark width equal to 540. We don't want 100% width, we just want to 540, and it will be centered horizontally container. Okay, so we can copy this one into our next breakpoint. So you can change the min width here equal to 768 pixel. Okay, so the mark width for the container is equal to 720, and we change the class for the column here equal to medium. Okay, for the third breakpoint, we will have it into the 992 pixel, and we will set the width of container in 960, and we will change the class here into the large column. Okay, so then the last one is our last breakpoint at the 1200, and the container width is 11 and 40, and we will add the extra class here, column extra large. Okay, so that's our grid system is done, our grid system. Okay, so start to moving on to the first section, header. Okay, so you can see here we have a 2 column here because we implemented the grid system in our CSS. And okay, so for the next section we will define it at the region header, block header. Okay, and end region block header. Okay, so I can collapse this one, scroll up and collapse it. Okay, so for our header, so the first thing I need to style is our header text is padding 20 pixels at the top and bottom, and the 0 for the left and right. Background equal to variable white. The URL I can define into our image folder, and the name is picture -1 equals JPEG. I don't want to repeat the background image, and I want the background position into a center X and Y. I set the background size to the cover, background attachment equal to fixed because I want the black background effect. Position relative and height I'll set to 100 vertical height because I am styling CSS into follow the mobile first approach, so that's why I style it for the mobile first. So after that I can style up into our 4 breakpoint that I defined above. Okay, so as you can see here, 100% height of our browser height. Okay, so next class is header main. So as you can see here, the header main that we already defined in HTML. We set the background color to the primary color. Okay, and the header main brand, the logo one, we will set the padding equal to 2.15 RAM, as you can see here. Okay, and the header main brand H1, we set the color equal to white here. Okay, so I can scale it up here for you to easier to see. Okay, so the next thing is header main navigation. I set height equal 100%. Display I set it to flex direction it to the row. Align item equal center. Okay, justify content equal flex end because I want to align it to the right. And the header main navigation, I set the input type equal checkbox because I want to style the hamburger icon like I did here, the hamburger icon here. Okay, so the input with the procedure before, and I copy it to the procedure after also. Okay, so I want to make this one equal position equal absolute, content equal empty content, display equal block, top equal -1 grams, left equal 50%, and transform it minus 50% and 0. And in the above I will define our header main navigation for the input, the relative position for it, and the margin is 1.5 gram at the top, 2.5 gram at the right, 1.5 on the bottom, and 1.5 for the left hand side. Cursor equal pointer when you hover over on it. Okay, so the next thing we will define our procedure before. And for the before, we set the background color equal to primary color. Okay, width we set to 3 gram, height 3 gram, border radius equal to 0.2 gram. Okay, and chance system you set it to the on 0.3 second easy in out. And for the after procedure classes, we set the transform equal to translate 1 rams and 0.6 ram. Background, I set it to the white color, and box shadow 0.3 ram, transparent. Okay, 0.5 ram, 0.7 ram. I set it to Y. 0 and 0.8 ram. I set it to the transparent, and 1 ram to 1.4 ram. I set it to Y again. Okay, and width equal to ram, height equal 0.3 ram, and transition I set it to on 0.3 second, and easy in out. Okay, as you can see, our little hamburger icon here, I made it by styling the before and after procedure of the input checkbox here. Okay, so the next thing, when the checkbox is checked, so I have to change the icon here. You can see when I check the class, so the little animation on the hamburger icon here, so it is a state of checked and the before. Okay, I take the background color to white for the before, and for the after I set it to the background color equal to primary color, and the box shadow I will set it to 0 to 0.3 ram with transparent, 0 to 0.7 ram I set it to primary color, 0 to 0.8 ram I set it to the transparent, and the 0 to 1.4 ram I set it to primary color. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, when I check the input, so the hamburger icon will transition in transform. Okay, so when the input checkbox is checked, so the main navigation here will show up or hidden. So that's why I have to style for checked input here, and we have selected a blur selector to the cycling selector to the unordered list, and I set the transition to on 0.3 second and easy in and out. Opacity equals 1, visibility equal visible. Okay, transform I set it to translate 0 and 0. Okay, so this state is for the input. We check state, then the URL will show up for us. So for the default state of the unordered list, so we can set the opacity equal 0, visibility equal hidden, transform equal translate 0 and 3 ram. Then we will set the display equal flex warp. We don't want to warp the list item. The flex direction we set it to the column on the mobile screen side that you can see here. Okay, you can see here. And align item I set it to center. Justify content I set it to the flex end, and width I set it 100% width, and position I set it to absolute, and the top 100%, as you can see here. 100%. Okay, the next thing I want to style it for the header navigation. UL list A, UL list item. Okay, the position I want to relative width equal to 100% and the text align equal center, that you can see here. The next thing is for UL list A, the hyperlink. I set the color equal to white, text decoration equal to none, text transform equal to uppercase. Padding I set it to 0.5 rem and 1 rem. I set this block display and the transition 0.3 second easy in out. White space, I don't want the white space, so no warp. Background color for the hyperlink, I set it to the primary color. And the border bottom for each list item in the hyperlink, I set it to 1 pixel solid var variable white, as you can see here. Okay, so the next one, we will set the direct another list with the first try. Hyperlink first try, I set the border top equal to 1 pixel solid Y. So you can see here the Y border top of the first list item. Okay. The next one is for the UL list item with active class and UL list with hover state for the hyperlink. Background color, I set it to secondary color, and the color I set it to the base text color. So as you can see, when I hover over on each list item here. Okay. Next thing I style the unordered list nested in the unordered list. Okay, I set opacity equal to 0, visibility hidden, display equal to block, and the height equal to 0. Okay. Next one, when the UL list item, and A for the sub menu, padding equal to 0.5 rem, 1 rem. Background color, I set it to the base text color. Okay. Border bottom, I set it to 1 pixel solid white. And when the list is hovered and the inside another list will be transition on 0.3 second easy in out. Opacity equal to 1, visibility equal to visible, transform equal to translate 0 0. Okay, and high I set it to 111. So as you can see here, when I'm trying to hover on the block parent menu, so the sub menu will show up for us. Okay, so the nested unordered list here, the height is not enough for us, so I will set it to 121. Okay, 125. Okay, that's it. Okay, so the next thing is we will. Okay, so a little problem here is because we don't have the container class to warp our header main here, so that's why we have to warp the header main inside the container. Okay, we delete it. inside the container, then we can shift tab here. Okay, so that you can see here, we have the menu here. Okay, so the next thing we style for the header main banner here. Header main banner. So I set the padding for 20 pixel top and bottom, and 0 for the right, left, and right. Color to white. You can see here. I can copy this one for quick styling. For S1, I will set the font size equal to 5 rem. Margin bottom, I set it to the 2.5 rem. And 9 high, I set it to 1. Okay, you can see here. And for the B paragraph tag, I set the margin bottom equal to 2.5 rem. The button margin right 1 rem. Okay, this one is not in the container. Okay, so I will put this one into our container. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I will update this one equal to 20 vertical height, not 20 pixel. So you will see the padding here. Okay, so when we're trying to scroll down, it looks awesome. Okay, so we will style for the larger screen because we don't want to display the hamburger icon on the larger screen. So that's why we will set the media query in CSS for the screen size min width from 7 and 68 pixel. Okay, so we set the header, the padding is set to 80 pixel top and bottom, then 0 on the left and right. And we will set the height for the auto because we don't want 100 vertical. You can see here 100 vertical height for header. We just need 100 vertical height for this smaller screen size, but for the breakpoint 768, so we will set the height for the header equal to auto. Okay, header main navigation input type equal checkbox, and we will hide display none, as you can see here. Okay, so as you can see, so we will float it. For the another list, header main navigation UL, we set the opacity equal 1, visibility equal visible, transform I set it to translate 0 and 0, position I set it to relative, top I reset it to auto, direction I set it to row. Okay, so you can see here. So I need to correct this one. So I want to copy the header main navigation class for quickly styling. Okay, UL list item, the width equal auto. Okay, and for the UL list item and hyperlink, I set the padding equal to 2.15 rem on top and bottom, 1 rem for the left and right. Background color I set it to transparent, border I set to none. The header navigation with the directly UL and directly list item with the first choice, and then I style for the hyperlink. Border I set it to none, as you can see here. Okay, so it's fine for our parent unordered list, but for the sub unordered list here, we have to set it to position equal absolute. Okay, so the header navigation UL list UL, we set the position equal absolute. Transform, we set it to translate 0 and 3 RAM, left equals 0, top equal 100%, and min width equal 200% pixel. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, and for our header main banner, we set the padding equal to 15 RAM on top and right, and 0 for the left and right. Okay, it's nice header, right? It is the same here. Okay, so for the mask here, because it's a little bit difficult to read the white text here, so we have to have the mask under the text. So that's why I have divided the global styling for the hash mark here, for the hash mark element. So the first thing I need to do is to copy the hash mark and set it to the header here. So as you can see here, we have the mask after the text here. Okay, so that's it for the header section. Okay, so for the next section will be implemented is the contact info here with the 4-column layout. Okay, so back to the HTML file, so we can start by writing the section with class contact _info. So inside that we have the container class. Inside the container we have the row class, and we have the 4-column. By define the column 12 on the small column, the column medium 6 on the medium breakpoint, and for the column log 3, so we will multiply by 4 column. Okay, so the first column we will have the class contact info item. Okay, so the first element we will have the phone awesome icon, so we will define it as FA phone icon, and the next thing is the contact info details. Inside of that we have the strong in the paragraph tag, gonna give us a code, and then second B tag is for the phone number 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Okay, for the 3 remaining column we will copy and paste because the content is the same. We just need to replace some dummy text here. We will set the icon for the next column is envelope. For the third column is clock, and for the last column is marker on. Okay, as you can see here, we have the content here, and we change the content for the second column in to the send us email, and the support equal domain.com. The third one is the working time from Monday to Saturday, and that is 8 AM to 16 PM. And the last one is come visit us at the location, direction to hyperlink class, hyperlink text with our location. Okay, so this is our content. So the next block we have to do style. We can call it regions, contact block, contact detail, contact info, okay, and end block and region block contact info. Okay, so the first class we will have to style the contact info. We set the padding equal to block small padding. Background color, we set it to the primary color. The color, we set the variable to white. As you can see here. Okay, and inside our contact info class, we have our contact info item class with the display equal flex direction equal to row, because I want the icon on the left and the text information on the right of each item. And flex warp, I don't want to warp align item, I will be center it, and the margin bottom for 1.5 rem on the mobile screen, as you can see here. Okay, and for the contact info row class, start with the column. I want to select the last right and the contact info item. I set the margin bottom equals 0, because I don't want the last item have the margin bottom. I just need all the remaining list item have the margin bottom, but not the last one. Okay, contact info item, and we set the styling for the I class, for the I tag. Okay, padding equal 1 rem, background color equal to y alpha, color equal to secondary color, border radius equal 50%, and margin right equal 0.75 rem. Okay, so that's it for the mobile screen size. So when we're trying to scale up, so it will be on the desktop screen size, so we have to style for it. We have to remove the margins. So on the breakpoint at this 768 pixel, so we will set the contact info row column class, start by column, NT8 try 3 contact info item. The reason why I have to choose the third element and fourth element, because on the medium screen size we have a divided into 2 columns, so that's why I just need the margin bottom for the first and the second column. I don't want the margin bottom for the third and the fourth column, so that's why I have to select the third and fourth column, and I set the margin bottom to 0. Okay, and for about the media, I copy it and I set it to 992, and for all the contact info item, I set the margin bottom equals 0, and for all the contact info item I set the justify content equals center and the high equal 100%. Okay, as you can see here. Now for the next section is our service info, as you can see here. our service info. Let's start by writing our HTML code. I can call it as service _ info div with container, and inside we have the div container, and inside we have the div block heading, the global styling for the heading. So the first tag is the p class, so we can copy this one, and the second one is the h6. Okay, so the second block is our service info item. As you can see here, all the item down below, and inside this one I have a row to divide it into the 3 columns. With each column we have the column 12 at the small lead breakpoint, the column small 6 for divide into 2 columns in the small devices, and for the larger, for the medium screen size we have the column medium 4, and we will multiply it by 6 columns because we will have 6 items here. Okay, so the first item is we set the article class with the info service info item. Inside we have the font or sum class with FAS, FA, spray, can. Okay, the next element is h5. I will copy this one, and the last one is the p. The p is not the last one, and the last one is the hyperlink. Okay, with the more detail with the Rakur icon. Okay, so I will copy this one for our own remaining column 3, 4, 5, 6. I will change the text. Nun's ATM. Okay, the second one I change the icon into the user secret. The third one is the couch. The fourth one is the crown, and the fifth one is the dolly flatbed. For this last one is the road. Where, as you can see here, we have all the icon show up and all the content. Okay, so move on to the style, and we will define the next region. I can call it block service info, and the region block service info. Okay, so for the block service info, I define the service info classes. I will copy this one for later use, and I set the padding equal to block small padding. Okay, for the service info item, I will set it to position equal relative. Padding, I set it 2.5 RAM at the top, 1.5 RAM on the right, 1.5 RAM on the bottom, and 1.5 RAM on the left hand side. Border, I set it to 1 pixel solid. Primary color, and the margin equal 1.5 RAM at the top and the bottom, and 0 on the left and the right. So I will paste and set the item for the item and all the element inside the service info item, I will set the transition for on item equal to on 0.3 second and easy in out, because I want when I want to hover over on it like this one, on the element will translate transition. Okay, and for the service info item, directly I text the position, I set it to absolute, right, I set it 1 rem. So to add that, you can see here this little icon here, I will set it to the top, equal to 1.75 rem, minus display, I set it to inline block, background color, I set it to primary color, the color I set it to white color, and the width equals 3.5 rem, height is the same 3.5 rem, line height is the same because I want to verticalize centered. Take a line, set it to center. Okay, border set it 3 pixels, solid, transparent, and the background clip set it to padding box. Okay, as you can see, the styling applied. Okay, so the next thing, I want to style the service info item 8.5. The margin bottom, I set it to 1 rem. Okay, so and for service info item, the hyperlink, I will set the margin top equal to 1 rem. Display, I set it to block element, and the color, I set it to the base text color. Okay, so the next thing, I will set the hover over state for the hyperlink. No, I want to set the hover over state for the whole item here. When I hover over on it, the background color, I set it to the primary color, and for the service info item, hover, and directly I tag, I will set the border color equal to white, and the top equal to minus 2.5 rem, so it's a little transition when I hover over on it. Okay, so next thing, I will set the text equal to white color for all the item, hover, and all the element, I will set the color equal to white color. Okay, that you can see here, when I hover over on it, on the item we will have the leader transition. Okay, so that's it for our service info. But when you see on the smaller screen size, you will set the media min width of the 768 pixel. I set the service info padding equal block big padding, because when we have the padding on the desktop screen size, the padding will be bigger than the mobile screen size. You can see here. Okay, and for another breakpoint, min width equal 992 pixel on the medium screen size. We have a service info item, set it the margin top and bottom to 1.5 rem and left and right to 0.75 rem. Okay, so as you can see, the gap between the item here on the desktop is different than the mobile. You can see here the mobile is a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's for our service info section. So the next section we will do is the detail info section here. So back to the HTML. So we will define our detail info section. So we can call it detail info, and we want this section to have the hash marked global class, because this section we have the black background. So that's why we will have the class hash mark like the header that we did before. Then we do the container class. The first block is to block heading here, but it's a little different than the other, because we have the dark color here, but in here we have the white color. So that's why we have to add an extra class for block heading, and extra class is detail info heading. The P class, the P tag, the P tag, we will copy this one, and the heading 6. Okay, so then the next class is the detail info card. Inside that one we have the row divided into 2 columns, one for the 8 and one for the 4. Okay, first one we have the column 12 on the smaller divide, and on the larger screen we have the column large 8. The second column we have the column 12 on the smaller, and the column large 4 on the larger screen. For the first one we have the h6 class for the first column, and we have the B tag. Okay, and another B tag here. And for the unordered list, we can define our OL list plus equal to 8 list item. The first one is we can copy, the second one, the third one, the fourth, fifth, 6, 8, and 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so on the right hand side we have the image tag, but before I begin, then you can see we have the A tag here, the hyperlink tag here. So that's why we define the hyperlink with the class detail info card link. Okay, and then the extra class, as you remember that we define a globally class called image over. When we hover over on any image, then it will have the nice effect. Okay, so we will add the image over class on the hyperlink, and inside the hyperlink we have the image text with the point to the 01.jpg inside the image folder. Okay, so we call it natural. Okay, so this is our detail info section. So you can see on our section. Okay, as you can see here. So let's get started in our styling for this region block detail info and region block detail info. Okay, so for the first class we will define detail info. Let me copy this one for later use, and we set the padding. It is the same like a service info. we have the block small padding, small spacing, no, small padding, and the background we set it to white color, and the URL to the image folder, and set the picture to .jpg, no repeats, and vertically and horizontally center our background image. Background size I set it to cover, and I want to have the black background. Set background attachment to fixed. So as you can see, okay, so the picture background no repeat, center and center. Okay, as you can see, the background is so up for us, but we have to style for the heading. For the detail info heading, I set the color equal to white color. Okay, as you can see here, white color. And for the detail info card, we set the background color equal to white, and the padding equals to RAM. Okay, as you can see here, padding. And for the detail info card content, we can define our content inside our HTML. You can see here, we can define our detail info card content. You can indent it. Okay, so then we can set the margin bottom equal to 1 RAM, and detail info card content for H6, we set the margin bottom equal to 1.25 RAM. Then we can copy this one for quick styling. And for the P class inside the detail info card content, we set the margin bottom equal to 1 RAM. Okay, as you can see here, we have the little margin bottom on the paragraph on the heading 6. And in the detail info card content, the ordered list, we can set the counter reset equal to service counter. Okay, the display equal to grid, because we want to display it into 2 columns. Wrong here. Okay, so for the grid template row, I set it into the 1 row and 1 FR for the column width, because on the mobile screen side I just need the 1 column. I want the 2 column on the desktop screen that I will use in the breakpoint. Okay, so the next, for the OL list item, I will set the counter increment to the service counter. Okay, so I set the display equal flex direction equal to row, and align item I set it to center, flex warp, so I don't want to warp, and the padding equal 1 RAM on the top, 1 RAM on the right, 1 RAM on the bottom, and 0 for the left. Okay, as you can see here. And for the detail info card content, OL list with the before push 0, I set the content equal to counter of the service counter. It will display the list number for us. The color equal background color equal to primary color, that you can see here, number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 here. And for the width we set to 25 pixel, height with 25 pixel also. The line height equal 25 pixel, and take a line equal center. As you can see here, I want to border radius equal to 50% for round on the corner of the list item. Okay, and for the margin right, I set it to 10 pixel. Okay, and for the display, I set it to inline block for flex with 0025 pixel. Okay, that's it. The next thing I have to style is our hyperlink here with the image. Default into card link. I set the position. I remove this dot here. Relative. Display equal block. Height equal 320 pixel, and overflow I set it to hidden. Okay, you can see here. And for the image inside the detail info card link, I set the position equal to absolute. The mark width I set it to inherit from our parent. Top equal 50%, left equal 50% for centered vertically and horizontally. Transform I set it to translate. Minus 50%, minus 50%, and width I set it to 100%. Okay, so for the breakpoint at the mean width equal to 576, I set the detail info card equal to padding equal 3 rem for all dimension, and for the mean width of 768 pixel, I set the detail info padding equal to block big padding like we did before, and the detail info content, and the OL. For the larger screen, I will set the grid template row into the 2 column, 2 with 1 FR. Okay, that you can see here. Oh, on the more screen side that is correct for us, but on the large device screen, so we want to show it in 2 column. Okay, grid template rows. Okay, so we have to define the grid template column. We just want a column. Okay, as you can see here, 2 column. Okay, and for the next breakpoint, I will have the mean width equal 992 pixel. Detail info card link height I set it to 100%. Remove the E here, and the detail info card link with image I set the width equal auto and the height equal 100%. Okay, so for the image here, so that you can see when we hover over on it, so the no effect here. So I'm sorry about that because I forgot to add the hover over effect for the image over down below there. Hover for the after, so the opacity we set it to 1 and visibility we set it to visible. Okay, save it. And when we join to hover over on it, so the hover effect is here. Okay, so that's it. Trying to scroll down. Trying to scroll down and scale down a little bit so you can see our detail info is look beautiful. Okay, so for the next block is the blog post. So we can start to working on the HTML by defining a section with class post list. Okay, double underscore inside we have the div container, and the first block is the block heading like we did for the service info, and with the b tag here we can copy the content here, and for the h6 we do it for this one text, and for the next div we can set the class equal to post list item. Inside this one we can define the row to divide it blog post into 3 columns, column 12 for the smaller divide and the column medium 4 multiplied by 3. Okay, so the first column is we define the article tag with the post list item. The first thing we need to do is define the post list item thumbnail, and we define the image over, because we have the effect when we hover over on each image thumbnail here. And inside we have the image class image tag with the image 02 with JPEG. Okay, so I can set it to manufacturer. Okay, so down below the post list item thumbnail we have the address tag with the post list item meta class. Inside we have the URL list with 2 items. The first item we have the I with class from some class with the FA user, and the second one we have the hyperlink tags with the admin user, and the second list we have the time tags with the 6 April and 2020. And down below the address we have the div with class post list item content, and the first one is h6, so you can see h6 here, and we set the link to the hyperlink to link to the single page, but we can copy and paste the title here. Okay, so down below we have the little description of the blog post. Okay, so the 2 remaining posts is the same, but for the thumbnail we will change it. We can copy the article and we paste into the second column, and the third column here we change the image to the 3.jpg for second column and 4.jpg to the third column. Okay, as you can see here we have a 3 column layout. Okay, so for styling we can define an extra region blog post list and region blog post list. Okay, so the first class we have to style is the post list classes. Okay, so the post list class padding we have to set it to the blog small info like we did for the service info. The post list item, the max width we set it to 350, margin we set to 0 on the top, auto on the left and right, and 4 RAM for the bottom. So that you can see on the mobile screen side. the max width for each single post is set to the 350. Okay, so you can see here. And the margin bottom for each we set to the 4 rem, and for the left and right we set the auto to center it horizontally. Okay, so for the post list with the row class and class include a column hyphen, and the last choice we will remove these. We remove the margin bottom equals 0. Okay, the post list item thumbnail and image, we will set it to display equal block, because we don't want when we hover on it so the little bottom here it should be in the white background color. So we will set it to image to display block, so it will fill all the space at the bottom, you can see here. Okay, for the post list item meta, we set the padding at the top at the 1 rem, right 0, 0.3 rem for the bottom, and 0 for the left. Font size we set at 0.8 rem, as you can see here. And for the post list item meta UL, we set the display equal to flex direction, we set it to row, and the align item I set it to center. Okay, as you can see. And for the next thing we set the post list. Now I will correct it, post list, as you can see here, flex to the row. Item meta UL list padding right equals 0.5 rem, padding left equals 0.5 rem, border right equal to 1 pixel solid gray color. Okay, so the post list item meta UL list large choice, I don't want it to be have the padding left equals 0 and border right equals 0. Okay, so as you can see here. Okay, so it's not correct here because we will have the padding on the left. Okay, so we'll remove it. Okay, that's it. I will copy this one. No, I will choose the post list item content and the ASIC inside the content ASIC here. Okay, I will set the margin the top and the bottom for 0.75 rem and 0 for left and right. So as you can see the little bit margin here. And for the breakpoint larger than 768, so as you can see here, I will remove the margin at the bottom, and we will set the padding for our block be bigger than smaller device. Okay, and on the media query min width at the 768 pixel, I will set the post list padding, we set it to the block big padding. Okay, and for the post list item, I set the mark width equal 100% and the margin equal to I set to 0. Okay, so you can see on the larger screen size it looks beautiful, right? Look awesome. With hover over on H image, H thumbnail. Okay, So for the next section, we will do for the footer navigation and the footer. Okay, we have the 4-column grid layout here. So down below the section text, we will define the footer navigation. It's called section footer widgets. Okay, inside we have a container, and we have a row for divided into 4 columns. So we have a column tail class, div class column tail, and the column medium 6, and the column large 3. We multiply by 4 columns. The first column we will define is we have a div class with footer widgets, and the first column is site info. So we will define an extra class for the footer, which is site info class. And inside we have the h6 for the header title. I will copy this one, paste, and down below we have the b tag with the leader description, and at the very bottom we have the another list with the social media icon. We have the 5 social media icons, and in each list item we have the hyperlink. Okay, and inside the hyperlink we have the font awesome icon. So we will set the I class FAB FA Facebook. Okay, I will copy this one. I will copy the first one to all the remaining icon. Second, third, fourth, 5. The second one is the Google plus Z. Okay, FAB LinkedIn for the Twitter, and the last one is the VK, as you can see here. Okay, got it. Okay, so for the second column we also have the div with the footer widgets, and the footer widgets links. Okay, we also have the h6 for the header title here, and down below we have the another list with the 5 items, and inside each item we have the hyperlink. Okay, the first one we will copy this one. No. Okay, so I will use this text and this text to paste inside the hyperlink. Okay, L. Okay, and for the third one we have the subscribe form with the heading here. So div footer widgets subscription form. Okay, h6. Down below we have the b tags with the leader paragraph form, which can define a method equal to post, for example, and inside we have the input type equal text and class equal form input, and we define the placeholder for this equal to name, and we define required for the HTML5 validation. Then you can copy it to the next input field, and we set it to email, type it equal to email. Okay, and the last thing is to a button with class btn outline and reverse, like we did for the header, and gonna submit. Okay, And for the last column, we have the footer widgets and footer widgets, recent post. With the recent post, we have the h6 for the header title, and we have the article post. I want to create a class called footer widgets recent post list. Okay, and we have the X article here. Inside of X article we have a P and strong and A. So we copy the title here. Okay, and below that we have the address. Friday 6, a super class with the Tiat April 2020. The P class with the text description. Okay, so we can copy this one into one more article. Okay, so that's it for the markup of the footer widgets. So then we can go on to the style sheet to style for the regions, blog footer widgets, and regions, blog footer widgets. Okay, so the footer widgets, we set the style for the padding equal the same with the service block, var equal block small padding, and the background color we set it to the primary dark color, and the color of the text for all the elements inside we set it to the white color. And for the footer widgets, okay, margin bottom we set it to 1.5 rem, padding bottom I set it to 1.5 rem, the border bottom 2 pixel, solid white, and height we can calculate the height equal to 100% minus 1.5 rem. So that you can see on my mobile screen side, we have the okay, so we check for the footer widgets. So we missing the semicolon here. Okay, as you can see here we have the border bottom for each column here. So we want to remove the last column border bottom. So that's why we can define footer widgets, row, class, content, column, hyphen, last join. So we footer widgets, border bottom equal 0, margin bottom equal 0, padding bottom equal 0. Okay, as you can see here, the last column in not have the padding, margin or border. Okay, and next one with the footer widgets, site info. For the first column UL, so we will have a display equal to flex, and flex direction equal to row, that you can see here, the social icon. And for the footer widgets, site info, UL list, we set the padding 0.2 rem, and for the UL here we have the margin top equal 2 rem. Okay, for the footer widgets h6. We set the margin bottom equal to 1 rem. Okay, then we can define, as you can see here, we will make it a little bit bigger for referring to the site info. We will list a display equal block. Okay, width equal 3 rem, height equal 3 rem, background color equal y alpha. Okay, as you can see here, we center it vertically and horizontally. Okay, take align equal center for center horizontally, align height equal 3 rem for center vertically, and set the font size a little bit bigger by 1.5 rem, as you can see here. Okay, look beautiful. Okay, and select one for the category. We need the links here with a little bit padding. Footer, which is links, UL, so we set it to the display equal flex direction equal to column. Okay, footer, which is links, UL list, border bottom equal to 1 pixel, solid white alpha. Okay, as you can see here, white alpha, and the padding for the link, footer, which is links, UL lead ace. Okay, we can set it to the padding equal to 0.75 rem for top and bottom, and 0 for left and right. And display equal block. Okay, footer, which is link, UL list. We don't want the last try have the border bottom here. You can see the last try, so we will remove the border bottom equals 0. Okay, you see here. The next column is our footer, which is subscription form, and we can directly to the form. Margin top equal 1 rem. I can copy this one for quicker styling. And for form, inside we have the form input. Form input here. Okay, so you can style for it. Display equal to block. Okay, padding equal to 0.75 rem for all dimension. Border radius 0.5 rem. Border equal 1 pixel, solid y alpha. Width 100%, margin bottom with 1 rem, and background color I set it to y alpha, so that you can see we have the nice input here. Okay, but how about the placeholder for the one? Okay, for the footer, which is recent post, list, and article, I set the padding bottom equal to 1 rem, padding margin bottom 1 rem, and set the border bottom for it to 1 pixel, solid y alpha also. And the footer, which is recent post, list, article, last try. I will remove the padding bottom equal margin bottom equal 0 and border bottom equal 0. Footer widgets, reason, post, list, and the article at 6, margin bottom. No, I don't want the A6, I want the P tag. No, this is the time, and I will set the font size a little bit smaller than current, 0.8 rem. Margin bottom equal to 0.8 rem, and display equal block. Okay, so that you can see our blog post here, reason post here is really nice, right? And on the medium screen size, you can see we have to remove the border bottom for the third and for the last try. So that's why we have to define media min width equal to 768. So the footer widgets, we can define the block big padding. Okay, footer widgets, row, class contain column hyphen ndhi third try and footer widgets, and then copy this for the last try. Okay, margin bottom equal to 0, padding bottom equal to 0, and border bottom equal to 0. And as you can see here, so it's really nice. So, and for about the desktop view, I can remove all the border. Okay, I can copy it, or no, I can define min width 992 pixel, and the footer widgets, and I define the margin bottom equal to 0, padding bottom equal to 0 for the footer widgets. Okay, and the border bottom I set to 0 and height equal to auto, as you can see here. Okay, and for the footer widgets and directly at 6, I set the margin bottom a little bit bigger than 2.5 rem, as you can see. Okay, and the footer widgets site info, we set the A with the, because it's a little bit big for the social link here, so I will decrease the width 2 rem, high 2 rem, line high 2 rem, and the font size I set it to 1 rem. Okay, as you can see here, it's really nice. And the last breakpoint is for the 1200. So for the 1200, when we scale up a little bit, so the icon here is a little bit small, so I will copy this one and reverse it to the 3 rem at the initial size and 1.5, as you can see. Okay, so that's it for footer navigation. Footer widgets, so I don't want this one to have the padding. padding no. For this one here, I want to set to footer widgets. Okay, that's it. Okay, so move on to the next section is about our footer. Inside we have a container. Inside container we have a row, and the first column is column 12. The column on the medium size 7, and the column 12 for the column medium 5. Okay, we can call this one have the footer template info, and have the b tag a template made by hdevz.com. And for the here we have the deep with footer copyright, footer copyright class, and we have the copyright copy 2020 by hdevz.com. Alright, reserve. Okay, as you can see here, and we can style for the footer region block footer and end region block footer. For the footer elements, so we will set the background color equal to primary color, the color equal to white, and the padding 1.5 rem top and bottom, and the 0 for the left and right. For the footer copyright and the footer template info, we set the text align. For the mobile screen size, the center. As you can see on the mobile screen size here, we set the center for the copyright and the template info. So we can correct the text here for on. Okay. The next one is the footer P. We have set the line height equal to 1, equal to 2. Okay. And for the breakpoint 768 pixel, we set the footer copyright text align equal to left. And for the footer template info, we set the text align equal to right. Okay, so refresh it, and here is our final product from the header section with the header navigation with the submenu, and down below to the contact detail with the service info, and with the detail info here, blog post, footer widgets, and the footer information. And you can scroll up to the desktop view. You can see the blog post, the detail, the service, the contact info, and the header. It's very nice, right? So that's it. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, if the video is useful for you, so please like, share, and subscribe for my channel for more useful video like this one. So hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.